US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Israel on his 11th tour of the region. A second spy ring linked to Iran busted in Israel. 7 men from East Jerusalem have been arrested. And world media taken on a tour of the Beirut hospital that the IDF claims is being used to hide $500 million in Hezbollah assets. Well, we start with a developing situation here in Israel. Sirens have been blaring across the north of the country for over 40 minutes now. A Hezbollah drone had been steadily making its way south and hadn't been intercepted by the IDF. It has now reportedly come down over the central city of Hadera. And a reminder, just over a week ago, a drone attack hit an IDF base in central Israel and killed 4 soldiers and wounded dozens of others. Let's get the bedroom window of the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, a few days ago. The censor here in Israel has just granted permission to publish the images of that. So drones are causing problems here in Israel. Well, meanwhile, Antony Blinken is back in Israel tonight. The US Secretary of State is on his 11th trip to the region. He's pushing for a ceasefire in both Gaza and in Lebanon. More on this report from our Middle East correspondent, Ariel Osseran.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in Israel, the first stop in his latest tour of the Middle East, pushing for de-escalation in Gaza and Lebanon. The Biden administration believes the killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar is an opportunity to renew ceasefire efforts.
It's time for this war to end and bring these hostages home. So that's what we're ready to do. That's what we're going to do. And I'm sending Tony Blinken to Israel.
In his 11th...
That's a ceasefire proposal that has been put forward by Egypt's new spy chief, Hassan Rashed. To talk more about that, we're joined by Hassam Hassanein. He's an adjunct fellow at the Foundation for the Defence of Democracy. It's great to have you with us, Hassam. So Rashed has come up with this kind of limited deal, hasn't he? Some of the hostages in return for a few days of peace in Gaza.
Thanks for having me, Laura. Well, Egypt sees there is an impasse, or there has been an impasse in the current negotiations between Hamas and Israel. And by presenting such a proposal, it thinks it can let the two sides be engaged again in a small scale, which could be an opportunity to break the ice that has been existing for some time.
And Ariel Osseran, Hamas has already responded to that limited proposal from Egypt, hasn't it?
Yeah, so that limited proposal also includes, at least according to Qatari media, gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces spread along a long period of time. That would start in the south and then move its way north. Hamas saying that they reiterate their demands for the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces, saying that the future of Gaza and the day after in the Gaza Strip will be decided by the Palestinians and the Palestinians alone.
Shiri, do you agree with that? And how do you see Egypt's role in all of this as we move forward?
We're in this deadlock where there is really a question mark. Where do we stand? On the one hand,
busted a second spy ring linked to Iran in as many days. 7 Palestinian men from East Jerusalem are accused of making plans to assassinate a city mayor and a nuclear scientist. It follows another such spy ring that was revealed yesterday involving 7 Israelis from the city of Haifa, recent arrivals from Azerbaijan. Well, for more on that, Vahid Beheshti is an Iranian human rights activist. Good to have you with us, Vahid. And this is something you've been warning about for a long time now, how Iran is trying to activate its undercover agents in Europe. Are you surprised to see it happening in Israel?
So, thank you for having me here. No, I'm not surprised at all. This is, in recent times, I mean, in this year and a half, this is the fourth case of the arrest of spies employed by the Iranian regime. That's Laura shows the seriousness of this regime about destroying.
Well, a senior member of Iran's Revolutionary Guard says Tehran expects only a limited attack from Israel in response to its missile attack from October 1st. IRGC commander Mohammad Ali Jafari saying that Tehran believed Israel's retaliation will be just symbolic. Well, Iran's foreign minister has been touring the region, warning any country that plans to help Israel that it would find itself in Tehran's crosshairs. The foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, has been in Kuwait and Bahrain in recent days. For more on that, we're joined by our Dubai correspondent, Bastien Bory. So, Bastien, Bahrain is in an especially tricky spot here, isn't it? Because it has very close ties to the United States and Israel. How is it negotiating this with Iran?
The situation in which Bahrain finds itself is made all the more difficult by the fact, as you said, that the Bahraini authorities are taking part of this coalition against the Houthis, as they had been directly targeted by Houthi attacks lately, with soldiers even killed. Besides, Bahrain highly depends on the Pentagon to enhance the Royal Bahraini Air Force. The country is also relying heavily on oil and gas sold to the US. So all this explains why Manama is bound by a certain form of strategic dependence on Washington.
The head of the IDF Northern Command says Israel has dealt a very serious blow to Hezbollah's command and control, but the group is still firing missiles at Israel, and air raid sirens were blaring across central and northern Israel today. And just a short while ago, as a drone made its way all the way down northern Israel before it came down near the city of Hadera. No more details on that as yet. Let's go to the north of Israel. Our Robert Swift is standing by. Rob, do we have any more information about that drone that was sent by Hezbollah from Lebanon?
Yeah, there's scant details at the minute. It's understood that there was an explosion in the Hadera area, although at this point it's not yet clear if that was due to an interception in the air by Israel's air defense systems, or if indeed it was the drone impacting the ground or impacting against its target.
Well, as you heard there, the IDF has been targeting Hezbollah's financial assets and has disclosed the existence of $500 million in cash and gold buried beneath a hospital in Beirut. Our Lynn Plachmeyer has more.
The IDF targeted an underground vault with tens of millions of dollars in cash and gold on Monday in a series of strikes intended to weaken the flow of Hezbollah funds. In addition, the Israeli army disclosed the whereabouts of one of the bunkers used by killed Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah. The underground sanctuary holds $500 million in cash and is located under a hospital in Beirut.
The entrance is located in the Al Mahdi building, and the exit is located in the El Sahal Center building. This is the bunker. It contains rooms, beds, and infrastructure for long stays, and the ability to direct combat from underground. Hezbollah built this bunker directly underneath this hospital. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in cash and gold inside the bunker right now. I'm calling on the Lebanese government, Lebanese authorities, and the international organizations. Don't allow Hezbollah to use the money for terror and to attack Israel.
Saudi-owned news channel Al Arabiya has been ruffling some feathers in the Arab world. Algeria suspended the channel's license today, and earlier this week in Baghdad, the offices of NBC, which owns Al Arabiya, was raided by a mob and then shut down. Al Arabiya's office in Ramallah have also been attacked. So what's the issue? Well, there is some upset about the channel calling Hezbollah and Hamas members terrorists. Well, for more on that, we're joined by Saudi journalist Abdulaziz Al-Khamis. Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Al-Khamis. We appreciate it. Al Arabiya goes further, doesn't it, than the British broadcaster, the BBC, in calling Hamas terrorists. I mean, what is the upside for a Saudi-owned news channel in doing that?
Saudis always they called Hamas and any Muslim Brotherhood branch as a terrorist groups and Hezbollah as a terrorist groups, and that there is no change in the Saudi situation. The decision to ban television stations and revoke their license due to their stance in the Gaza and Lebanon conflict and for labeling Hamas actions as a crime reflect